Hey, thanks for stopping by. My name's Quinn. This is the artofpodcasting.com. Today we're talking microphone stands. There's a lot of consideration out there to make. Some of the stands can range as much as a couple $100. Which one's right for you? Let's dig in. And by the way, today I am recording with the Audio-Technica. This is a lapel microphone. It's the AT898. And for all the audio that's being recorded, I am using my trusty Zoom recorder. First stand we want to look at is the very reliable. This is the classic. I'm trying to keep everything in focus here. This is the floor stand. And this is a stand where obviously you can stand up and make a recording. It's nice. The other thing is too, if you're not using a desk and you want to record in a living room or something along those lines, this is a great stand because you can kick back in a lazy boy and adjust it to whatever position you need. If you've ever seen Joe Rogan's podcast, he uses the floor stands. So we know they work and they're comfortable. Now, keep in mind, I have a very entry-level floor stand. Mine is made by OnStage. I believe it runs about $25. And it's very simple. You can see the base of it here. It's got basically collapsing feet, like a little tripod. It's not really that heavy. And if you were going to pair it up with the Electro Voice RE20 microphone, which I have here, unbelievable microphone, highly recommend it. It's kind of the X factor because this mic weighs about 4 pounds. And let me show you what I'm talking about. When I bought this floor stand, I didn't know this was going to be a problem. First thing, let me get this installed real quick. Got that screwed in there. And you'll see right here, there is an adjustment knob which basically controls the arm length right here. And the first thing is this screw is not very durable. So I can tighten it down, but it gets to the point where you just can't tighten it anymore, and watch what happens. Because this microphone is so heavy, it absolutely will not hold the mic in place. I can bring it up here, crank it down, and it just doesn't hold. So that's the first thing that I noticed when you have a heavier mic. So my suggestion is make sure you get a stand that's durable enough to hold the mic. And what I would recommend doing is going to your audio store, bring your mic along, or they'll probably have a floor unit there that you can do, and get everything set up with the mic and the stand that you're going to use to make sure it can accommodate. The other thing I noticed, and I'm sitting down, the more I extend the stand and the taller it gets, the more stability you kind of lose. The other thing I wanted to show you was if I extend the arm out a ways here and I lock it down, I'll just let that fall. The other thing you'll see, the stand itself, not only does the mic fall over, but the stand will fall over. The stand is not heavy enough. Let me bring this up a little bit higher. The stand is not heavy enough to hold the mic. It just doesn't have a heavy enough base. So when I use this stand in particular, I typically go with my Heil PR40. It's about half the weight of the Electro Voice, and it's just a little bit easier to handle. But I do like floor stand models. They're great for guests, and like I said, it's definitely a very functional stand. Next thing we're going to look at are desk stands. Couple of different varieties. Most of them that you're going to find online are probably going to look something like this. They're going to have a cast iron bottom, steel post right here. The steel post will be adjustable for height, so depending on what you need, that makes it very functional. And usually you can accommodate almost any guest. Now the one thing you want to keep in mind, if you go with the setup like this, you've got your microphone fastened directly to the post, there's no shock mount here, this works fine in a scenario where if I'm talking to you and we're face to face, it's very easy to just carry on a conversation and maintain good mic positioning. The problem with a stand like this is if I've got multiple guests in studio, maybe I've got somebody to my left, somebody right here that I'm talking to, I get into a situation where I'm either going to have to sneak around like this, right, just to maintain a consistent volume on the mic, And after doing that for about an hour and going back and forth, your back's going to hurt. Then you're going to get a podcasting injury and your career will be over before it started. Now, I'm just joking about that, but you know where I'm going with that. So you can obviously do one of these deals, right? That's going to get old, or you're going to end up sliding the stand across the desk like this. And if you start doing that, you're going to get a lot of noise in your recording because these stands, when everything is secured and it's a tight configuration like this, the littlest touch on this stand, you're going to hear that in your audio. So, like I said, if you're just recording face to face and you don't need to move, I think you could get a stand like this. Make sure you get a pop filter. You should always have a pop filter. And you could make a comfortable recording just like this. If you have to move the stand, you got to get a shock mount. So let's talk about shock mounts. This is an important topic because I screwed up when I purchased mine. The first thing you'll notice is these stands already carry a good amount of height. Now, when I go back to the Electro Voice, and there's plenty of shock mounts out there, the Electro Voice, you can see the edge of this. It's probably another 5 inches of height that it's going to add to the mic stand. So now here's what happened. I put everything together. My co-host is like 5'10". I'm 6 foot. The mic stand fit me perfectly. However, when he came into the office, we literally had to stack phone books underneath his chair so that he could record. It was like a little old lady that's, driving down the road in Florida. So it was pretty embarrassing, and it's because this shock mount was so tall. So if you got to buy a shock mount, make sure you measure out the stand length plus wherever your normal talking height would be, and you want to, buy something that fits that measurement. Otherwise, if you go into it blind, you could end up with a combination that just doesn't work. The other type of stand, desk stand, that I want to show you is one of these guys. You'll see these, they're very common with like kick drums. They use these to position mics for, that type of like drum sets, bands, that sort of thing. But it's a great desktop stand. If you watch Dan Patrick, he actually uses one of these. And the thing that's nice about them, again, they adjust for height. They also adjust here, and you can adjust the length of the swing arm. So you've got so many adjustments. What I've found is any guest that I bring in studio, no matter who it is, this stand fits everybody. It's got a rock solid cast iron base. It's very stable, and it's a very comfortable stand. The other thing is too, because it's adjustable for height, that sort of thing, you can get a shock mount on it very easily. Again, the oddball, the RE20 stand, because of how it's configured, as you see here, it's not really, there's not a way, it needs to hang down. So this particular stand doesn't work well, or this particular shock mount does not work with this type of desktop microphone stand. Just keep that in mind if you go with this option, but I think it's a great one. Last but not least, I'm going to show you my personal favorite. And I'll show you both versions here. All right, last but not least, travel stand. I love this stand. I don't know which particular make and model this is, but I will list it in the show notes. But I really can't say enough good things about it. The nice thing about it is it's so compact. It's adjustable for height, right? And it's got these little tripod legs that easily extend. And watch how durable this is. This little stand, I'm going to put the 4-pound Electro Voice mic, and I'll screw that in there, and you'll see it holds it securely with no problem at all. This is really a great mic stand. This is the stand that in my studio I use pretty much full time for all my guests now because it is so functional. And my typical setup right now is basically this right here. I've got the small portable stand, the shock mount, and the pop filter. And I'll take this on the road. This is where I go. Anywhere I go, this is the setup I use. I find it'll give you the best recording because you do have the shock mount and the pop filter, and it's completely portable. I'm a big fan of this setup. I'll list all the parts, but this is one I highly recommend. And I got one more too to talk about, and that's the old reliable desk boom. And what you'll see here, this boom in particular is made in Germany. I don't remember the name of that, but I'll also put that in the show notes. I've got the Heil configuration here with the shock mount and the pop filter. Boom mics are great. If you go with the RE20, again, the X Factor, it's a heavier mic. I would recommend going with this particular boom or the OC White. Whatever you do, do not buy the Electro Voice microphone and try to pair that up with like a Heil boom. I realize the Heil boom is a great boom and I love their products, but the Heil boom is really designed for the Heil microphone, and you can see how much smaller it is, and it weighs about half of the Electro Voice. And over time, I have known people that have bought the RE20, they put it into the Heil boom, and the boom really just kind of wore out with everyday use. So that's something to definitely consider. Pick out the microphone that you want, and then buy the proper stand that really complements that mic. That's my best advice to you. And that pretty much wraps up what we've got for microphone reviews.